dear! That's right, it's great and glorious, soon to be famous one day, Nick Dutch, back on the camera again one more time for another delightful series of tarot readings here on the wonderful tarot show. It's of course that time of the week when you can just chill out and focus in on yourself. Obviously when you look at other people's reading requests which are being done by me as a full and proper tarot reading, you yourself can get some contemplation about your own life and your own situation. Remember, this is not a black and white service. I'm not here to turn around to you and to tell you precisely what you should be doing. Everything is still self-motivational. It's still basically up to yourself in every possible way. And a tarot reading should be realistically regarded as being just an entertainment service, which some people claim to use for therapeutic purposes, okay? And that's basically what it's all about. So chill out, relax, enjoy it. If you've got any requests you want me to answer in the form of a tarot reading, then by all means send them through by email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. That's the email address. That's where I want to take all of the inquiries from now. Keep them all focused and, you know, in the same place at the same time, so that it makes life much easier. Remember, this is going out on a fair few different video sharing websites now, so essentially I want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to be able to, you know, subscribe, follow the show in every way, in whatever way they want, whether it's via one particular form of social media or another, okay, and still to be able to get their requests through no matter what. That's essentially what that's all about. That's why we've got one particular email address. Now I want to just crack on and see what kind of like thoughts, feelings, moods, energies and all the rest of that appear in the wonderful readings we've got for people today. So here we go. Okay, Lynn is making an inquiry. Lynn is someone who's been for a job interview, and she's got all the experience, she's got all the knowledge, all the qualifications, and she's been turned down on the grounds of a lack of skills, lack of knowledge, and lack of qualifications. And she wants me to see basically what's going on there. Well, obviously that's a really rather weird situation, so let's just see what the reading says, because that's what I do. You know, I don't read anything else into this, realistically speaking. Okay, sometimes, you know, we can try and elaborate, but essentially apart from that, it's more a question of what the reading says, you know, because it's like a conversation between your question, what the cards say, what goes on up here, any other inspiration that comes from any other apparent sources. Okay, the situation, the way it comes through here is really rather weird, because you've still got a career, you've still got a future around the corner, very strong earth signs coming through with a sense of singularity and focus, and you need to carry on keeping your singularity and focus. But the people you are dealing with, despite the fact they liked you, okay, it looks like they didn't really have their organization in place. I mean, the Chariot is talking about internal conflict within the organization. One person thinks you've got absolutely everything going for them. Another person thinks, should we really have actually advertised the job in the first place? So there's some very funny issues going on there. And it's not to do with you, nor is it to do with them not liking you. There's very good signs of them actually liking you and actually having a great quantity of respect for you. But they couldn't really turn around to you and say, well, basically, we muffed this up. You know, we made a mistake here, could they now? No, of course not, because they want to look good, alright? They always want to look good, so they're always going to make it look like it's all down to your fault. I mean, there was one time when someone actually approached me, you know, obviously saw the tarot show, saw the work that I can do, and says, basically, you know, we got a new psychic line, we want you to work on it. And so I thought, okay, that's great. So I started signing up and sorting out the profile and the rest of it. And I had a few other things to do, and I thought, okay, I'll choose which day I'm going to go onto that site and give it a go. But in the meantime, I received a snotty email from them saying, you know, why haven't you got straight on the very same day you signed up? And I actually took offence at that. So what I did was I replied to them in a manner which basically made it seem like it was their fault. Alright, saying that there was technical issues. Now, there was technical issues. There was issues with the way the software interacted with my browser. Alright, so there's lots of things that were going wrong. But essentially, I blamed those things rather than actually blaming the fact that they were, you know, they had some other issues going on with their behaviour. I don't think that you actually were doing anything wrong, though. What I think that they're doing is they're blaming you for the fact that they themselves have made a mistake. That's what's happening in your particular job application situation. So, realise that it's not because you're crap. Realise that it's probably because they're crap and they're not man enough to be able to turn around to you and say, look, we've made a mistake, we screwed this one up, and I'm terribly sorry, and we shouldn't have wasted your time. But on the other hand, if they did say they wasted your time, they'd probably have to find a way of financially reimbursing you at a wild guess. So they're going to try and find a way of avoiding that and trying to use their language appropriately because of it. Okay, Judy wants to know about her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. So let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Shuffling like a lunatic as per usual. Here we go. Bear with me a second, please. Standard 8 card relationship reading coming up, not for you, but obviously for your daughter and for the daughter's boyfriend. Now, you're concerned about his temperament and his personality. Obviously, you know, you're a mother, you've got a strong right to be concerned there. Alright, I feel he's a bit too eager. The signs of prudence are reversed, okay? So he isn't the most cautious individual on the face of the planet. I think that sometimes he may want to try and make a situation work out the way in which he wants. Alright, but essentially, is there love there? Yes. Are those love signs more powerful, shall we say, than his willingness to try and get basically what he wants from her? I think so. So essentially he's got two forces operating in him at once. Number one, boom, we've got to get some results done. Number two, hang on a minute, there's more important things in life going on here. Alright? So that's going to cause him a lot of tension and frustration, okay? Possibly even a bit of anxiety. And that might come out in his behaviour as well. But you've got to realise that that will be to do with him trying to sort himself out. Now the relationship between him and the force between between his self and your daughter is that of trying to get some good information flowing both ways. It's that of instruction. Sometimes it seems a bit one-sided, but it seems a bit one-sided one way, then one-sided the other way. So there is like an equilibrium happening there, kind of thing, okay? And on her side of things, I feel that she feels quite passionately connected with him. I don't think that she's naive. I think that she's quite aware of his negative temperaments. She's actually quite a sensitive individual in her own right, almost as if she's got some kind of empathic ability herself. Very strong on the sensitivity side. She's got a great quantity of loving abundance and a great sense of passion and drive and determination to try and do basically what is right. And this is what the Princess of Wands is telling me. It's like the female version of one of the better of archangels, basically. Trying to fight for what is right, trying to destroy or dispel darkness. I think that she can be a bit too much of a healer, though. And I think that in this particular case it's thoroughly inappropriate. But I think that she's also got a greater quantity of wisdom and of course that loving component there, which helps to put it in perspective. So on both sides of things you've got some odd dynamics going on there, which from your point of view is causing concerns, but there's still this feeling of finding a way of reaching equilibrium going both ways. They're both young people. They're both dangerous. Alright, all young people are dangerous. I was dangerous when I was a young person, okay? And I know other people who were also pretty dangerous when they were young people too. But they get over it. And these young people here that we're seeing, your daughter, your daughter's boyfriend, they're both growing to the point whereby they can become quite peaceful and tranquil. So, again, this is not really something whereby you need to be totally terrified. I'm not seeing signs in this reading of a need for terror. I'm seeing signs in this reading of a need to have some distance. Be compassionate, make sure you're open, okay, so your daughter realises that you're there to talk to when the time is right. Okay? Projection into the future, short term, mid term and long term. It's interesting because, as I say, they're still growing. The first thing that's going to happen is that sense of a new beginning, having studied each other very well. So within the next 3 to 6 month period, because there's still a few hiccups on the way there, I think that there's going to be a bit of a blossoming or a development, something really rather good between the two of them. Okay, they're not regressing; they are progressing. And in the longer term future, there's a feeling of freedom from oppression. Yes, they are in a relationship in which they can basically get on top of each other. And that's basically what it feels like for them, okay? But it's also a relationship in which they're both learning from the struggle, which they need to go through in order to get out to the other side and become fully developed, well-integrated individuals. So it is a question of integration. It's a question of something of a spiritual nature as well. I would say just allow yourself to be there and make sure that he knows that he can talk to you as well as her talking to you as well. Alright? Okay, Amakau wants to know when she'll be in a relationship. Let's have a quick look. Chronological spread, looking out for romantic signs. Here we go. Giving it a quick shuffle, you know the score. Here we go. Remember, to everybody else out there who's watching, if you want to appear, if you want your reading to appear in a tarot show, then obviously the best thing to do is send me through an email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com and I'll add you to the rotor, okay? There's still a few more there to be gone through. Can't always guarantee I'm going to get it all done straight away. And yes, the tarot show does go out on different days, so just be tolerant of that. Now, as far as are you going to get a relationship, the bottom line is that's interesting. It's not, I mean, the very short-term future, it's not that black and white. because it feels to me almost as if there's a bit more clarity you yourself have got to get prior to getting the next relationship in place. It appears to me as if I mean, intellectually speaking, you're very well equipped for a relationship. You've been planning it and trying to make yourself the right kind of person to be able to have the right kind of relationship for a long period of time. But you're also thinking to yourself, you know, I'm putting in an awful lot of effort, but I'm not really getting the results that I want. Willpower plus a feeling of failure. Alright, so you're sort of doing both simultaneously. On one side of things, you want everyone to see you looking well, but on the other side of things, you think, well, why should I bother to, you know, dress nicely, go out, and all the rest of it, when basically it's not really working for me? Well, I would say you've got to try and keep the faith and carry on building upon your planning and preparation for the future, because that's where your strength is going to come from. Alright, that's where your strength is going to come from. And also you've got to keep aware. Now, when we're talking about the Six of Swords here, yes, it can be to do with healing, yes, it can be to do with communication and planning and preparation, and taking things which have been broken up into little pieces and putting them back together again bit by bit. I think that's what you've been doing with your life, but it's, you know, it's those signs of planning and preparation for the future. Part of the, I mean, one thing you've got to realise about real life is that you are going to go through some dark times. We all do. Even when we've got everything else sorted out in our life, down to the last detail, and I mean seriously down to the last detail, we're still going to go through bad times. So just try and see this as being, you know, an opportunity to relearn some coping mechanisms which you've basically been missing out on for a while, basically, okay? And yes, there is this feeling of it coming. Now, there's a change in the energy in the reading, okay? Bit of a change there. You've seen the signs there, bit higgledy-piggledy. You've got signs of passion, frustration, depression, you know, knowledge of your own intellectual development, that's right, and just feeling, am I getting there? And also, you know, tearing yourself down and putting yourself back together again to make sure you can, you know, develop into a really whole individual. And then all of a sudden, and I mean all of a sudden, the energy changes to something more tranquil, okay, more peaceful. Fewer signs relating to fire, more like rainbow imagery coming through there, okay? And also a sense of blending your energy with that of somebody else. Namely, reaching that point of unity and trying to create something bigger and better. But remember, you know, alchemical type symbols, okay? Alchemical type symbols are about turning lead into gold. Something which seems worthless is being turned into something nice. Now remember what your story was talking about, okay? Signs relating to a feeling of failure, okay? That's the lead. That sense of, oh my God, should I really try? That feeling of like a whole weight on your shoulders. I don't really want to get up and do anything because nothing's actually worked out according to plan. I mean, basically, where am I going to go with this? You know, what's really going to happen there for me? Then all of a sudden, turning lead into gold. You've had the lead, you've had that weight on you. Then all of a sudden, this feeling, you know, it's being taken away, slowly being removed. You're turning that dark thing into something which has value. And it's coupled with romantic signs as well. So essentially the feelings that, I mean, it's a story of opening up and progression. Don't let that lead feeling stop you from thinking clearly about the things which are around you, okay? Because otherwise you wouldn't have signs relating to victory and miracles. Alright, miracles comes through with the Prince of Wands, okay, that's what it's referring to. Because, as I've said before, relates to the energy of the Archangel Michael, the one who works the miracles of God. Obviously, quite a powerful card, an important character within, you know, within the Bible itself, and the way that religion expresses itself in the 21st century. And of course, the Chariot card, which I interpret as being that to do with, yeah, definitely victory, but also from wisdom. Okay, it's got some Sphinx imagery at the bottom. I'm sure you understand that the riddle of the riddle of the Sphinx. You know, what creature is it which has 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon and then 3 in the evening? It's man, okay? Because everything to do with your spirituality is about you as a human individual, going through growth and change and just being the best you can be and doing the best you can do. That's all the riddle of the Sphinx is about. Something basic, boring and normal, okay? Normal, mundane, prosaic, you might say. Alright, something routine. A lot of spiritual stories are essentially about the normal. They're not about the supernormal. They're about the normal. You've got to learn to encode them properly, or to be able to read through them or look past the veil of all the symbolism and to realise it's just talking about you growing, developing, being yourself, doing what you have to do to become like what you want to be and to get what you want from life. And that's what you've got to carry on remembering. Okay, Apricous, it's good of you to submit your reading request today. Now, when it comes to issues relating to someone potentially committing suicide, there's other people you've got to get involved rather than people like myself, okay? You've got to think about Samaritans, for instance. Alright, got to think about medical help. Doesn't matter how bad the situation is, there's other ways of doing it and other sources of advice that you must send people to, and you must refer people to, and you must get involved with other people. Okay? Because that's the way it is. But we'll try and treat this reading as a bad situation associated with someone who is close to you, and to see whether that can progress and get better and easier for you. Okay? Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Still shuffling quite nicely and heavily. Let's see, do we have another message of light coming out of the darkness? Thank heavens we do. And I mean thank heavens we do. Because all I do is I tell you what I can see here, okay? It's that simple. So here we go. The lightning struck tower speaks about something divine, a flash of inspiration coming through, which can turn your world upside down. Now if your world is already in a bit of a dark environment, I mean obviously there's some dark colours associated with the lightning struck tower, but there's also some brilliant flashes of light in there as well. If you're already in a dark environment, when the lightning struck tower comes around, it's talking about turning things into something bigger, better, brighter and happier, okay? I mean the signs for the here and now, yep, it's coming through there. The Three of Swords is often marked as being sorrow anyway. That's where, that's where that individual is right now. But also fear of interference. You're dealing with a stubborn individual who will eventually have that flash of inspiration that something can actually happen to turn life around and make things bigger and better for you and for them, which comes under the power of the lightning struck tower. Okay? Now I shuffled very thoroughly indeed. Not only do we get more signs of light coming out of darkness, which is what the Sun card talks about, we're coming up to midwinter, okay? Obviously we've still got a few months to go. We're coming up to midwinter, and what is the message of midwinter? Despite the fact it's the darkest time of the year, and it's pretty cold, alright, it's not going to be total destruction, because essentially that's when you celebrate the light coming back, the sun returning in neo-paganism, okay? And also some would argue in Christianity as well. So essentially there's still this feeling of there being hope around the corner somehow. And once again, the Prince of Wands turn up, and the Prince of Wands is probably one of my most favourite tarot cards within the Book of Thoth Tarot, okay? Because essentially it's talking about hope, miracles, change, transformation, excitement, majesty, power, something divine, it's a good feeling. But remember, the lightning struck tower also refers to action, and that may mean you taking action to make sure things do move in the right direction and on track. Okay? Alright? Okay, Elaine, your inquiry is basically about change, alright, and whether it can happen. I mean, you're not talking about total revolution, are you? You're talking about keeping some things the same, just changing it qualitatively, you know what I mean? Just the quality of the environment that you're involved in. So it's not a massive shift, it's more a question of just tweaking it just a little to make sure that, you're happy. Right, let's have a bit of a feeling to see what's coming through for you there. Bear with me a second, please. What have we here? The Four of Coins, which came out reversed in this particular reading, can talk about stability. Alright, it's labelled as power, but I see it as stability, protection, defence. And I think that when you want to try and keep some things the same, that's what you're trying to do. Hang on to that which is good. You know how bad things are out there, okay? So I think that it's coming through with your understanding of the social and economic, natural world which is around us right now, and how hard that is. Now you want to try and turn things around to something bigger and better. But you're not going to undo, the good things that you've got. So essentially the feeling is that of protection. Now, we've seen signs of loving abundance before, but coming into a career-related spread, the message there is slightly different. I think it's the mercurial aspect which is coming through, namely in terms of healing. Now, if you are just trying to change the environment, then it will make a lot of sense that this is actually going to start to come your way, as well as enjoying and or loving the new environment that you're moving into. So the feeling is again very enthusiastic. As far as can it happen? Yes it can. Basically yes it can. There are some negative signs coming through in the reading, but these are forces which I feel are around you but not influencing you. Okay? I mean there's negative forces around me at the moment which are not influencing me right now. But they're out there, and I know that I'm trying to do the next right thing to prepare myself so bad things don't happen. When I saw those signs relating to strength and stability there, I feel that you're trying to be aware of the danger. And as a result of that, through being aware of the danger, you can bring about the positivity, okay? I mean, a lot of the negative signs are coming through talking about basically trying to put you off whack emotionally. But I don't feel that they're going to win, okay? I mean, all those colours, they're very dark, they're very gloomy. Messages relating to defeat, despondency, irritability. I don't feel that that's you. I feel that these more positive signs brought about by your awareness of what is right for you is basically what's coming around the corner for you right now. So be bright and try and be optimistic, because I think that as well as everything you know and doing everything right and doing the next right thing one day at a time, which is what I try and encourage everyone to do, okay, because that's essentially what's important. Alright, be aware that your awareness of the negatives can actually help you to make sure you are set within the positives. Okay? Okay, Francesco, it's great of you to submit your request. Obviously, to anyone else out there who's watching, don't forget the email address is nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. And just submit your request through, no matter which service you're watching this particular video on. I strongly encourage everybody to rate, favourite, share, and all the rest of that. Favourite it, or whatever it is you do. Put it onto one of your favourite websites, so you can express to everybody else how wonderful the service of Nick Dutch really is. Okay. All right. Now you're going to Italy to see friends and relatives. You want to make sure it's going to work out okay. Your Italian is pretty not as good as it could be. But never mind, let's just see what the reading says. I've got one simple job, and that simple job is just to say what I can see here. Okay? Right. Gentle. Gentle and sociable. Alright? You may feel isolated initially, but there's a good feeling about returning to something which is important to you, connecting with something which has value, and also searching for something which you need in your life right now. I don't feel that you're going to be regarded negatively because your Italian isn't really all that good. There's no real signs of there being something damaging, and in fact we've got some very strong earth signs as well, suggesting to me that you'll be looked after very nicely. The Italian cuisine can be really rather beautiful. Tremendous use of the herbs and the spices. I think that you're going to be catered for very nicely. I don't think that there's any real negativity there. I feel that you're going to be treated the way that you should be as a member of the family, and it feels wholesome, it feels friendly, it feels warm, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Now, as far as is there a connection with an individual coming your way, again we got an affirmative there. Very strong female energy who's getting stronger in your life within about roughly within a few weeks either side of the same time when you're going out to Italy. Maybe someone you'll meet before the trip or bond with before the trip. Maybe that's essentially what's really going on there. Okay, but as far as, is it going to happen? Yes. Is it going to be perfect? No. Alright, there's a bit of bitterness associated with it with this individual. They're very red-blooded in their own right. Maybe there's some raised passions or some other kind of emotional difficulties which have to be overcome. But is it tragic? No. Is it powerful and passionate? Yes. Could it last? Yeah, I think so. What is it that makes me think that it could last? Well, we got some very good signs relating to an almost childlike sense of happiness there. And that's coming through at the end of the reading. Okay, we got a rather odd inquiry, so bear with me. It says here, I did a Celtic cross spread. My question was, am I going to own a home someday? And this is how the cards came out. Position 1, Two of Pentacles card. Position 2, Judgment. Okay, starting from that point, you've got some earth signs, and you've got some signs relating to getting things in balance and in perspective. Those signs relate to the here and now part of the reading and the here and now part of your life. So from the outset, the reading is telling you, don't worry about that right now. That's what the reading is suggesting. Card 3 was the Seven of Pentacles. Well, that's suggesting that you're aware it's going to be a pretty hard road to try and get to where you want to go. Card 4, which is above, which is the Queen of Pentacles. And that's suggesting that if you love what you do in order to get to where you want to go, then essentially you'll be able to get the results that you're after. Card 5, Yeah, we've got card 5 being the 8 of Pentacles. It's all very earth orientated, so essentially it still looks like you can get there. But you've got to look back to your past to work out what skills you've already got, which can help you to get to your goal. 6 being the 7 of Swords. You've got some conflict coming your way, as well as making sure you communicate with the right people. 7 is the Lovers. Great quantity of responsibility coming your way. Okay, and that's short-term future. You've got to seriously rein back within your short-term future on a lot of things that you'd actually like to do. You've got to make sure you don't do them. You've got to focus in on your goals. And then you've got 10 of Wands and the Hermit and the Sun. Well, the Sun card is talking about success, promising success within this particular set of energies that you're asking about. The 10 of Wands card is more referring to who you connect with, and is therefore talking about hard work, but also with a sense of there being some celebration. But the Hermit is basically, again, reiterating the message of the Sun, and it's pointing out it's going to take a long time for you to get to where you want to go. But it feels to me as if it can happen. Right, there we go. That's the readings for today. Remember, if you want to be included in the tarot show, submit your request via email, nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to add you to the rotor and see what we can do in that particular respect. Go to the information box and have a look at any links which happen to be out there. Visit them, check them out, spend some money, whatever it is you want to do. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, favorite, and share. And I would definitely look forward to speaking to you very, 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 very soon. Remember that a tarot reading, a mediumship reading, a clairvoyant reading, a psychic reading, and all the rest of those things, for legal and ethical reasons, is regarded as a entertainment service. And why is that? It's done for good common sense reasons, because you're the most important person in your life, and there's always many other ways of getting the truth and facts about a situation than having a tarot reading. Okay, so carry on seeing these things as an entertainment service, which you can use for personal reflection and contemplation, rather than something which is black and white and is going to provide you with hard and fast laws of the universe. Okay, and I'll speak to you very, 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 very soon, as in probably next week.